Martin from the Philippines. We're here in Real Talk Lifeline. So in this live, let's get to it. People watching the live or the replay, this one is called Mental Focus Tips, Enlightened Warrior Training Camp. So this video is a response actually to a comment from one of the subscribers or posted on my video, my recent one. So I'll share my screen. Sorry, it was a comment on a past video on best lessons of my Enlightened Warrior Training Camp. So just read it out quick here. Hi Martin, I'm Australian and going through the process of becoming an entrepreneur and developing my online e-commerce business. I would like to ask for any assistance you may have in the way of your prior experience in the warrior camp of mental determination and remaining calm and active rather than being distracted or procrastinating in order to reach and achieve my goal. What, how, and why are some keywords I've picked up listening to audiobooks on past successful entrepreneurs? What, how, or why are some of the key techniques and steps to use around achieving a desired deadline? And then methods on selecting influential peer groups to be engaged in that help accelerate your personal interests and achievements in life. So I'll stop sharing, just go back to the here to this. So this live, I'm gonna cover three quick points in that comment that I got from a fellow Australian. So hello Australia, love from the Philippines to you. So the first one, the question of flip in and out was keywords. The second one was key techniques. And then the third one was methods for influential peer groups. So let's get into it. Keywords. What are keywords that I learned from Enlightened Warrior Training Camp? Now, this is a course I took back in October 2019 in Malaysia when I flew there. This was my final training or course in the Quantum Leap program I took, this T. Harv Eker signature course. So keywords I'll just share straight into it is this. So I'm going to share with you my screen of keywords that I use from that course. So over here, boom, you can use this as your cover photo. Uh, I'll give you some tips also moving forward. So this one, they call these declarations, that you can say to yourself. So the question here is, when you're feeling distracted or procrastinating, right, what are some keywords that you can use? So from Enlightened Warrior Training Camp, this one, I am a warrior. I act in spite of fear. I am willing to do what's hard. Sorry, the second one. So I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I do everything at 100%. I am willing to do what's hard. I act in spite of my mood. I am bigger than any obstacle. I succeed in spite of anything. And I never give up. So just zooming out here again. These are declarations that we learned from the Enlightened Warrior Training Camp. So you could take a quick look at it again, pause it if you have to, rewind. I'm going to stop sharing this. These keywords are very powerful because they say there's power in words, right? So the reason why I'm also making this live and I'm just bringing back the spirit from my Enlightened Warrior Training Camp was before this, it's 8:40 a.m. here in the Philippines. So I just did a workout around 5 a.m. and I really was not in the mood. I didn't feel like doing it. So when I call upon these declarations, it helps me. Again, right? Not just I am a warrior, but saying I act in spite of my mood. I do everything at 100%. So these are keywords you can use. Again, just for the person asking. My second tip here for key techniques. So what are some key techniques and steps to use around achieving a desired deadline? So I'll answer the first part on this. Just getting something done, whether or not you have a deadline, right? The deadline might be now, like let's do it now. The first thing I learned to do is I actually put these declarations, which I just shared with you, on my phone. So it's the same thing that you saw when I shared my screen. So why do I put it on my lock screen wallpaper? So whenever I tap the phone, boom, it's a visual reminder for me. Sometimes I'm not even aware or conscious, and then it hits me. I get reminded. I act in spite of fear. So just like when I'm doing this live right now, people who can relate, right? Content creators, people who go live, do videos. We all face the fear before we press that go live button, that record button, right? So I still act in spite of that. And this is a very helpful reminder, or key technique I use. If you don't use a phone, put it on your tablet, put it on your desktop wallpaper, put it on the device that you use most often. It's my tip. Now, if you don't use devices at all, put it on paper, put it there on your desk or wall, wherever you work or go to most often. Second key technique here, because he talked about achieving a desired deadline. The first thing I would say is put it in writing. So this is based on my experience of the Enlightened Warrior Training Camp and also based on my life after. So this was October 2019, and then integrating it into my life moving forward up to 2014. So number one is put it in writing. What do you mean? Again, just like those declarations, digitally in writing, on paper in writing. And this is something recent I reviewed. So this is like a uh, parallel, like another course I took with T. Harvecker. So this is Get Rich Doing What You Love. So he talked about achieving desired goals. So I actually wrote down here a 3 to 5 year vision. You also have a 1 year vision. You have like shorter term ones. So I literally put it in writing. And this was back in July 2020. So it's been 4 years already. And I reviewed it. I reviewed it recently. I review this every year, and I have one more year to go to July 2025 to and see if whatever I wrote in that vision, that 3 to 5 year vision, if any of it came through or if all of it came through. So putting it in writing, that's my first tip, key technique here on achieving a desired goal. Uh, the second one is putting it in your calendar app. So this one is Martin, my achieve like my the desire, right? This achievement, this goal I want. It's not going to happen in 3 or 5 years necessarily. It could happen next week. It could happen next month. So my tip here is use your calendar app. So I use my phone for this one, this calendar app. If you have an iPhone, use it. If you have Google Calendars, go ahead, use it. This is the short term version of writing it down. So if you don't like using technology, write it down in your literal paper calendar, right? On the wall, those things you put on the desk like that. I use the calendar app, super helpful for me. It has reminders, it has alerts, so it helped me a lot. I learned that in 2015, I believe, when I started working as a life insurance agent. So helped me big time. So the next part is methods for influential peer groups is the last part already. So to answer the question here of methods on selecting influential peer groups to be engaged that help accelerate your personal interests and achievements in life. The first thing is you mentioned here in the question personal interests and then achievements. So another word for achievements I would use is goals. So The first step I would say for this methods for influential peer groups is have a vision. What does that mean? Behind me, or usually you'd see in my cover photo, that's a vision board or a dream board that I made. So it might sound like common sense or redundant, but back in 2014, 2015, I did not have a vision board. I didn't have a dream board. In fact, when my manager asked me for work, my internal answer was, I don't have any dreams. So some of you might be able to relate who are starting. Some of you might say, I don't have any goals. I don't have any interests. So it would very, very humbling, like takes a lot of humility to take a step back, to reflect and pause and just regroup, right? Start with something. What am I interested in? Or what are my main visions, goals in life that I want to achieve? So that's the first. Have a vision board. You notice mine is printed out. Some people just have it in their computer, like a collage or like a wallpaper type. But for me, it's more powerful when you see it in person. Next step for methods for influential peer groups. I start with a vision first because that will be your basis of what you attract or gravitate to in terms of peer groups. So back in 2018, the second tip I have here is Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap is again that 5 seminar package of TR Becker, and Enlightened Warrior Training Camp was the last seminar, the fifth one out of them. But there were four others before it: Never Work Again, Mission to Millions, Guerrilla Business Intensive, and Train the Trainer. Of course, Enlightened Warrior Training Camp, the fifth. So you get exposed to people on a higher level because Quantum Leap wasn't cheap. It was around 310,000 Philippine pesos, around 6,000 US dollars equivalent. So, and this was back in 2018. So it's you meet people who actually paid either their life savings, just like me. They took a leap of faith. Other people, I guess, are just more affluent. They could afford it. But you tend to meet people on a higher level already. So that's a big tip. I attended higher level seminars. I started off with just like cheaper seminars, like 2,500 pesos, 5,000. That's around $100, and then you start going into higher level seminars. Of course, use discernment. That's another tip. So don't just attend a seminar just because it's expensive. Don't just attend a seminar. Do your background research, right? And see are these people I want to learn from? Are these people for real, right? Are they legit? So always use discernment. After Quantum Leap, I did Date with Destiny. This was like my Tony Robbins. I got into Tony Robbins seminars in 2020. So I did Unleash the Power Within. His entry level seminar, Date with Destiny, is higher. So your question is here is influential peer groups, higher level peer groups. So in Date with Destiny, I learned this line from Tony Robbins: proximity is power. So what does that mean? It's that saying that you become who you surround yourself with. So when you surround yourself with people who actually pay for seminars, again, most people that, again, this is the real world, they'll either say you're crazy, they're going to say, why do you have to pay for that, right? Why don't you just get it for free? They're thinking on a different paradigm, a different level. So once you shift, you're going to start meeting people who think on a different level, right? And I mean that in a really good way. And then you meet people who pay for seminars on that level, $5,000, $6,000. Believe it or not, there are seminars even higher than that, $20,000 high ticket. You go even higher. So the thing I learned here is when you meet the best of the best among them, they are not selfish. They actually would share some of their best lessons, or they share all their best lessons to you for free. So it might not make sense at first, like, Martin, why are you sharing all this, right? Because somebody showed me it is possible. And I love those people. I want to be like them. That's why I'm doing this. So Tony Robbins has platinum partnership. I put that in my dream board. So that's how you get your foot in the door and start meeting higher level influential peer groups. So my last tip here from have a vision and then attend high level seminars. The third one is start with you. So what does this mean? You attract who you are. So you already flip in and out. The guy who asked this question from Australia, you already are changing because you were crazy enough to ask me this question. So you attracted me, and now I'm answering you back. Your vibe attracts your tribe. That's a saying I learned. So you meet other people and they can be your mentors, or you start to form your own inner circle. It's a term I learned. So these are the people who you align with, and then they share your vision and your values. So just like how we're aligning right now. Now have those people close by. They don't have to be physically there necessarily. Like you and me already just connecting here, but have that inner circle or that group and then expand from there. Because when I've met higher level mentors, opened up my mind, whatever you learn from them, whatever you see, you cannot unsee. And I mean that in the best way possible. So, quick recap again. We're going on this mental focus tips from my Enlightened Warrior training camp and my life lessons moving forward. Keywords, remember that I am a warrior. So these are the lessons I said, put it in your phone if you have to, right? I act in spite of fear. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I do everything at 100%. I'm willing to do what's hard. I act in spite of my mood. I am bigger than any obstacle. I succeed in spite of anything, and I never give up. Key techniques. Next one here is putting the declarations on your phone, just like me, or whatever device you use most frequently. And it will really help you get off your ass, like it did help me this morning. Also, if you say what are tips on achieving a desired deadline, put it in writing. So I put it on paper. Martin, I do want to write and put it on paper. Put it in your goddamn calendar, like over here, because that one helped me a lot. And then the last one, methods for influential peer groups. Quick hits is have a vision, attend high level seminars, start wherever you're at, right? I started with this Gary Vaynerchuk in Manila, 2018, National Achievers Congress, Millionaire Mind Intensive, Quantum Leap, Tony Robbins, uh, Unleash the Power Within, Date with Destiny. And then third tip here is start with you. And you already are doing it, flipping it out. So thank you for that comment from Australia. Again, you will attract whoever you are at the core, and we can always change for the better. Thank you. I love you, and I will see you next time.